I hope you're doing well. Welcome to Tarot-esque. Today we're going to dive into what are the lessons that we as the Scorpion Collective learned in the year of 2022. I can tell you from my end, definitely this year was super trying. It challenged me, it made me reflect on a lot of things. It made me question things that I'd taken for granted for so many years. So we're going to basically take a look into what were the overall energies in 2022 when it comes to your love life, what went well, what perhaps didn't go as well, and therefore what are the lessons that we can learn when it comes to love for the year 2022. And please do stay tuned. I will be recording another video which will be more about 2023 and what you can look forward to when it comes to love. I'm sure everyone's like, I hope 2023 brings all the abundance and all the joy, and I'm sure it will. Let's start. Let's dive into your energies, Scorpio. Let's see what were the overall energies when it comes to love for the year 2022. Also, please note this is a general reading. It might not resonate for everyone. If you are after a personal reading, you'll find all the information in the description box below. What were the overall energies in love in 2022? Let's take a look. Okay, I'm just going to pull 3 cards and then get you your messages. Really interesting, Scorpio. So at the bottom of the deck, I've got the beautiful Chariot. I think the Scorpions that I'm speaking with, and perhaps people who will resonate with these messages, I think you felt quite independent, and perhaps this was a year more to spend more on yourself. I see energies of being independent, doing your own thing. I also think that you might have felt that, a few times this year when it came to love, you had to wait, or it seemed like what you were waiting for was just taking forever to land. And there's a reason for that, because the Wheel of Fortune was at play. I also see that for the fixed signs, so Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, and Aquarius, this year brought a lot of significant changes when it comes to love. So some really big energies were shifting when it comes to love this year. I think this year also made you think a lot about communicating in love, around love. What is it that you truly seek in a partnership? What is it that makes you happy? What is it that you will settle for, and what is it that you will not settle for? Those are the kind of energies that I'm seeing overall, but I see this big shift when it comes to your love life this year, because the Wheel of Fortune is at play. So take it as it resonates. You might be in a committed relationship, you might be married, you might be single, you might have been dating somebody and now you're single. But I think whatever happened in your love life, you just have to trust that it was meant to be that way, because there is some big change that is underway for your life, for your love life. And I think it's taught you how to be happy by yourself. It's taught you how to be complete within yourself. And it's taught you how to communicate that feeling, that sentiment to others around you, after having been able to communicate that to your own self. I read this beautiful quote somewhere, right? And it said that you meet people as deeply as you've met your own self. So I feel this year really taught you that. Like, if you were missing something in a relationship, or you felt like this was not the kind of partner that you truly manifested, I know this is a little bit of a constructive message, but I'm a Scorpio sun as well, so I'm also speaking to myself here. I think it was a year that taught you that change comes from within, that you are your own environment. And I know this is a difficult one for us as humans to take on, but we literally create our environment. So our thoughts become things, our thoughts manifest into people around us, into relationships around us. So this year really made you understand that it's a lot more internal, and what you see show up around you in terms of relationships, in terms of people, has a lot to do with what's happening within you. So this year has taught you how to be a mirror to your own self. And I think for the ones who felt disappointed in love this year, I really want you to know that you've grown leaps and bounds. This is a big shift. You've learned a lot of things about your own self. You've learned how to keep yourself happy. You've learned what makes you happy, what doesn't. And I mean, I'd rather take those lessons any day, right? Over superficial relationships or just trying to force fit something. Because this is like learning that's going to help you get closer to your core, get closer to who you are. So let's see what actually did go well in love, or perhaps what were, the leaps that you did make in 2022 when it comes to love. we've got the Hermit, we've got the Four of Wands, and we've got Temperance. So I think this is kind of linked to the previous energies that we were talking about. This year made you like a wise sage when it comes to love. You learned a lot of lessons in love. And any Scorpions out there who are watching, who've had a difficult year in love, I empathize with you. I think this year has made you go within. This year has made you realize your inner strength. Scorpio is a very, very powerful sign. Basically, being born under Scorpio means that your soul has chosen a life which is all about death and rebirth, transformation. What doesn't work goes, and then you start to manifest things that you truly want. You start to attract that abundance. That is the constant cycle of a Scorpio, whether we like it or not, but that's just what our soul chose for us in this lifetime. Yeah. I think this year you've learned a lot of lessons. You've gone deep, Scorpio, which comes by default to all Scorpions. You've also learned a lot about stability. You've also learned a lot about home, what feels like home, who feels like home, what is home to you. So, this is such a typical Scorpio reading. Like, I'm really getting those deep, emotional, intuitive hits. And you've learned how to heal yourself. Perhaps there have been some really dark moments this year where you've not had the people or the right support around you. And I feel like, your angels, your spirit guides have been around you to step in and tell you that you are enough. Whatever you need to heal is around you and it's within you. Scorpio, I can already feel it that this has been a difficult year. I can feel that this year has been very emotionally challenging. It's made you question a lot of things. It's led to some major disappointments, if I may say so, in love. At least for most of you, this is the kind of energy that I'm picking up. Let's see what perhaps didn't go as well when it comes to love this year. So we saw what went well was you learned how to spend time with yourself. You learned how to be your own center of happiness. You healed from past disappointments. You figured out what is home to you, who is home to you, what does all of that mean to you. What were things that perhaps didn't go as you expected them to go? There you go. There is definitely that heartbreak. All throughout this reading, I've been feeling extremely emotional, like at a very deep level. And obviously, because I'm also a Scorpio sun, so I think I'm picking up my own energies as well. You're not alone in this. Like, you will find a way out of this, and you already have with the Temperance card that we saw earlier. But this year did break your heart in some places. And I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry to see that, Scorpio. What else didn't go as planned? The Queen of Swords, I think you learned where perhaps you've been too quick to communicate something, or the way you communicated something was not the most conducive to your situation. This definitely has been a year where you've learned how to communicate better, first to yourself and then to others around you. Sometimes, Scorpions are perceived as really cold, or that they deliver their message just, they say it like it is. Typical Scorpions don't really indulge in too much small talk, or they're just so obsessed with the truth that they believe that everybody else in the world also functions like that. So sometimes Scorpions are misread as cold or slightly unemotional or very objective, which is kind of like this Queen of Swords energy. But this year, I think maybe somewhere, just take it as it resonates, Scorpio, somewhere perhaps this has not served you, or people have again misread this aspect of yourself, or perhaps this is a year where you did not communicate well in love. You did not stand up for your own truth. You did not stand up for what you know deep down is core to you. Let's see, what else did not go too well in love this year? Judgment, I think. I think your judgment on people perhaps was not on point, because maybe you entertained some people from your past, or maybe something that you would put to rest in 2021 or years before came up again, and you realize that actually now in hindsight it wasn't the bestest decision for you. Or I think that your scorpionic intuitive sense, you did not tap into that as much as you could have, and perhaps that led to some errors in judgment. But Don't be so harsh on yourself, Scorpions. We all live and we learn. And that is what our sign is all about, right? Death and rebirth. We're gonna, this cycle of not getting clear, this cycle of not setting the right expectation, this cycle of, you know, letting people come in and do this to us is coming to a close, which is a good thing, right? We're almost in at the end of the year, so we've just got a couple more weeks. So these are energies from 2022. I'm sending you a big virtual hug, Scorpions. I know this energy is difficult. Trust me, for me as a Scorpion sun reader, I can really feel these energies. So I empathize with everybody watching and everybody who is resonating with this reading. Let's see what were the lessons that we as the Scorpion collective were supposed to learn about love this year, because ultimately our sign is all about transformation, right? And while this has been really difficult this year, the universe will only give us the experiences that we need to learn the key spiritual lessons that will help us ascend into the next chapter of our lives. So let's see, what are the key lessons that we learned in love this year? We learned we learned how to rely on our friends or how to cultivate better relationships. We also learned some lessons about entertaining people from the past. I am definitely getting this message for some of us, because with that judgment card saying that this did not go in our favor, we're definitely learning. This year made us see who truly are our real friends, who are people who will stick by you come what may. It also shed light on people from the past that we gave too much energy to. Like when we have people in our inner circle, we will go to, any length to make sure that they are looked after. I think you learned a lesson about who your true friends are, and that's a good one to learn, right? I think your eyes were wide open this year when it came to understanding who truly is in your inner circle and who perhaps is not. What else did we learn? We learned to look at our love life from a different perspective. We learned how to compromise on things. We learned the compromise that love demands from us sometimes. And this message, I feel intuitively, is related to our communication style. I think this year taught us that sometimes you can get to the same output, but you can communicate it in a different way. This year made us realize a lot about getting very clear about what is it that we want and then expressing it in a certain way. I think this year was also, in a way, interesting that we were able to turn everything that we thought about love back on its head and just look at things from a totally different perspective. Like, I'm sure there were experiences that felt like, wow, everything seems topsy turvy. I think that was intentional. We were supposed to see, maybe there were situations that you initially decoded as X, but when time passed by, you realize that maybe actually that was Y, it was an X, So I feel like you've had some moments like that this year. What are the other lessons that Scorpions have learned this year in love? The Tower. Wherever the foundation was shaky, wherever something was built on unstable terrain, unfortunately or fortunately, I would say fortunately, that was removed. So it came crumbling down. And that is why I know for a fact that you've had a challenging year in love, because the Tower with the Three of Swords, you did not see this coming. You did not see something that you cherished, something that you had built, something that you had invested in. It could also be a little bit outside of love as well for some Scorpions, because the Tower energy is quite overwhelming. It touches all aspects of our life. You did not see this coming. But the universe used 2022 to open your eyes up to where perhaps the foundation was not strong enough, where perhaps, when the base is not strong enough, how are you going to build on top of it, Scorpio? So the universe had to step in and remove everything that did not serve you, everything that was not in your highest, greatest good was, yes, taken away from you. And it felt bad. Like you were hurting this year, Scorpio. I can see that. Okay, while I know I'm going to be doing a dedicated video for what to look forward to in 2023, but I feel, oh my God, I'm just going to show you the card that flipped over. But I just feel this has been a difficult reading, and I feel like I need to give you a positive message on what to look forward to in 2023. And I was just going to say that when that card flipped over, I really think that you're going to be victorious in love next year. I think you're going to feel seen, heard, and recognized by people who matter to you next year. Next year, people are going to look at you and they're going to be like, whoa, that is a Scorpion that's been through a major transformation cycle. You've realized who your true friends are. You've realized what love truly means to you. You've realized where you need to communicate better when it comes to setting expectations. You've learned from letting some perhaps toxic people come back into your life in 2022, and you've learned how to shut that chapter, whether you liked it or not. But the universe took care of it with this tower, and it removed everything that did not serve you. What you can look forward to in 2023 is definitely some victory, some big win when it comes to your love life. So you've done the work, Scorpio. You've gone through another death rebirth cycle in 2022. 2023, I think you'll see the fruits of your labor. You'll see that people will take you more seriously. You'll see that you'll manifest and attract the right kind of friends, partners, colleagues. Like everything will be aligned to who you truly are. That's the message that I'm getting for you, Scorpio. If you enjoyed this reading, please do hit the like button. And if you feel called to subscribe to my channel, please do so. And I'll be back with your 2023 reading soon. Take care, Scorpio. Bye bye.